Today on Rock the Park, we're in the country's most popular national park, where the trees and wildlife are big.
Wow.
Is that typical?
Except when they're really small.
Oh, he's on me.
And the panoramic views seem to stretch forever.
I bet you that I reached the top before you. You're out of your mind.
And it all starts right now.
We did it.
I'm Jack Stewart.
And I'm Colton Smith. We've been buddies for years, and we love exploring the national parks.
It's all about packing up a car and just doing it, just hitting the road.
Our goal is to visit every national park in this country.
And when you go off the beaten path like we do,
there's no telling what will happen next.
Get set to rock the park. This is Great Smoky Mountains National Park, best known for its awesome mountains and the fog that gives them their name.
We're driving on the Newfound Gap Road, which is one of the most scenic drives you can take here. And it's also one of the most popular drives. So on a nice sunny day, it can get a little crowded.
We'll be exploring the park's wildlife, from big black bears roaming the forests.
The mother bear gave birth to 3 cubs up there.
Wow. To the tiniest creatures hiding under the rocks.
Oh, I want to squash him.
Then we'll tackle one of the park's most challenging hikes.
The uphill has finally begun.
Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the largest park east of the Rocky Mountains, straddling the border of Tennessee and North Carolina.
The crazy thing is if you look at those mountains, they're completely covered by trees.
And all that vegetation gives off organic compounds that easily form vapors. It gives the mountains their smoky look.
The Great Smokies are home to the densest population of black bears in the eastern U.S. Cades Cove is an 11-mile scenic loop drive and the place to spot black bears and other wildlife.
With nearly 1,600 bears in 800 square miles, we're talking an average of 2 bears per square mile. We're meeting up with Bill Lee, a nature photographer who specializes in capturing bears on camera. Bill has been photographing the Great Smokies black bears for 40 years.
We're gonna have a great day. We're gonna follow the path of a mother bear and her 2 yearlings on just one particular day that I had the wonderful opportunity to observe them.
Black bears are very active in the spring and summer and inhabit all elevations of the park. Bill's leading us to a small hidden cove that sits a ways off from the main road. It's big and quiet, perfect bear habitat.
This is where I first encountered a mother bear with her 2 yearlings. And I'm sure the yearlings spent the night up the tree. Then they came down, but she said, no, I'm sleeping in. So they went back to sleep, all huddled right in here.
Now, Bill's a bit of a character, the kind of guy who really immerses himself in the experience.
Don't you see how that would make a really nice, comfortable sleeping spot? Can we take a break and let me take a little nap?
Bill, we just got started.
At 1.5 years old, these cubs are about the age when Mama Bear decides it's time for them to fend for themselves.
She's got to get tough and chase them out. And so here, these young bears, their security is mom. And you, mom, suddenly turn on them. And it's like, if I can't trust mom, who in the world can I trust? And so they remain fearful all of their life.
So was that kind of what it was like when it was time to go off to college for you, Colton?
Basically, yeah. My mom said enough's enough. Get out of here.
And if we need further proof that bears hang out here, this is a sure sign.
That's Scat.
Oh yeah. If there's one thing we've seen plenty of in our day, it's bear scat.
That's true.
A bear's scat is usually a good indication of its last meal. In this case, it's walnuts. Bears will eat the leaves, berries, and nuts they find in the open fields and forests. But in the early spring, there aren't many things growing. Bill's taking us to see where Mama Bear and her 2 cubs had breakfast.
She stood here with her paw, and you could see her strain. And she pulled this out.
Ooh, okay.
And then laid it down on the ground, and then leaned over and started pawing it.
Wow.
Looking for insects and grubs.
You gotta eat, you gotta eat.
Bears are omnivores. They eat both meat and plants, but much of their meat comes from insects, larvae, and grubs.
Bill tracked these bears all day long, from one bug buffet to another.
They're trying to find any kind of bug they can in here to eat. Is it worth their energy to go at this thing and tear it apart?
I've often wondered how many ants would it take to fill a bear?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. So, you know, here are these big animals going through the woods and looking for something to eat that's that big.
Right.
On our final stop, Bill takes us to a yellow poplar, bigger than any tree we've seen all day.
I would guess 200 to 300 years old.
Wow.
You see the big hole?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The mother bear gave birth to 3 cubs up there.
Oh my gosh. Are you right up in that hole?
Right in that hole.
Wow.
Is that typical of a black bear to do that?
This would be their preferred den. The problem is there aren't that many big trees.
I gotta ask you, how did you find this?
I sat right over here against this tree, and I just started to hear claws against bark. And then a couple hours later, from that hole, I saw a little nose and little ears starting to peek out. Then it started raining. So what she did was she came all the way out, she curled up in a ball, and she used her body to cover that den and keep her cubs dry.
These are incredibly capable and smart animals.
They sure are.
Seeing the bears through Bill's lens has been so cool, but now we're still hoping to catch our own glimpse of a black bear.
Both of us are just scanning, trying to see anything that moves.
Ooh, slow down. Slow down.
And then Jack thinks he sees something.
We got a bear. Where? Right out there. Do you see him? Look.
Oh, I
right
do.
up
Yeah,
there.
I see him.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pulling
Find it,
over.
turn
I'm
out.
pulling over.
Wow, dude.
No way.
Look at him.
This is the perfect vantage point for safely watching a bear. Remember, never approach a bear in the wild, and if you do happen upon one on the trail, slowly back away to increase your distance. The bear will probably do the same.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad we got to see that, man.
Me too.
It's a rare treat to get a glimpse at what bears do in the wild, and a good reminder that this is their home, not ours.
I see another one. The Smokies are crawling with fascinating wildlife.
Salamanders everywhere!
But as we discover, catching these guys takes skill.
Coaxing them. I'm coaxing them.
We're exploring Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee and checking out a park inhabitant most people don't even know about.
So we're excited. We're going out with our buddy Dave to check out some salamanders.
There's over 30 species here, a lot of which I know very little about.
That's why we're meeting up with Dave Unger.
How's it going, Dave?
He's a biology professor, and we first met him in Cumberland Island National Seashore, where he was working with tortoises.
We are here to enjoy one of the most beautiful organisms in the park that is very underappreciated, and that is salamanders.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me for a second there.
These guys have got you beat by a mile.
Fair enough.
The Great Smokies are known as the salamander capital of the world because there's no other place of its size with as many different species.
I'm not seeing any salamanders, Dave.
Well, that's because they're not out and running around. They're nocturnal, they're carnivorous, so they come out at night to do their hunting.
Salamanders are amphibians, so they live on both land and in water. Dave's taking us to some of his favorite spots to check out a few different kinds.
Now, I like this. So they're gonna hang out underneath these stones where it's nice and moist and cool. First thing you guys are gonna need are some gloves.
Since latex can be toxic to amphibians, we're wearing non-latex and non-powdered gloves.
So what you're gonna wanna do is kind of coax the salamander. So if we have a salamander here, we're gonna get one hand in front of it and we're gonna try and coax it up into our hand. And we've got him.
This whole process requires a light touch.
Oh, I already found one.
Did you?
Yeah, I already found one. He's a little guy.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? He just ran off here. Little teeny tiny guy. Oh, you get him?
Yep, I got him.
Ooh, he's so tiny. Come on, buddy.
You gotta coax him. He's down there. Where? See him? Right there.
Oh, here's another one. Salamanders everywhere!
Many salamanders don't have lungs. 24 species in this park alone breathe through tiny blood vessels in their sensitive skin.
You get him? I got him. Nice. Let's see what you guys have. Oh, yeah. So these are little tiny larval salamanders. Look at this little tiny guy.
Oh, yeah.
So these are little babies.
These little mud dwellers are prey to fish, birds, small mammals, and other amphibians.
Here you go, bud.
But they've got tricks to avoid predators, including camouflage.
You can see right now that this little guy has already blended in perfectly to these rocks. I mean, it looks like just a little twig in
It
the
does.
stream.
And this is totally his way of protecting himself and making sure he survives if something that wants to eat him comes by.
This stream bed is partially dried up this time of year, but the mud under the rocks is just the type of place salamanders like to hang out.
Come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Where'd he go?
That's right
Where'd
by
he
your
go?
foot.
Don't move. Don't move.
There he is.
I don't want to squash him. Hold on. I can get him.
Coax.
Get in there.
Coax.
I'm coaxing him.
Coax.
I'm coaxing him.
Coax. Oh, wow. So when he's just a little bit bigger, you can see the detail on his
You
skin.
really see the coloration.
Look right there. Oh, nice. Oh, no. Come on, come on. Coax him.
Got him.
Catching these little guys is so much fun.
Got him.
You got it. You got it right there. Oh, he's on you.
He's on me. He's on me. He's on me.
Not to mention a challenge.
Good job. Good job.
Got it. All right.
Good job.
Give you a fist bump, Dave, but a little tied up at the
I'll
moment.
give you an elbow bump.
There you go.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
Salamanders have distinctive features evolved over time within each different species. Some people call this curious creature a walking catfish, but it's actually called a hellbender for its freakish size. It's the largest salamander in the park, sometimes reaching 29 inches in length.
Let's keep looking.
Later, Dave introduces us to another salamander called the Jordan.
So you've got the Jordans, and you've got a salamander that imitates the Jordans.
The difference is, a Jordan can emit a noxious, sticky mucus as a defense. The imitator just pretends it can, which is his defense. Pretty cool.
Oh, there's the red on his cheeks.
There's the red on his cheek.
They both have a red stripe on their cheeks, so telling them apart is not easy.
The imitator has bigger back legs than front legs, okay? And I would say on this guy,
no.
I think he's got bigger back legs than front legs.
There are at least 30 different types of salamanders hiding under rocks and logs in this park. And we could be here all day checking out the size of their thighs.
He's got these little skinny arms, but he's got these much bigger back legs, like he spent too much time on a Stairmaster.
So we got an imitator.
We got an imitator, yeah?
You know, when you get them this close, you realize these guys are pretty incredible.
They're beautiful, right? They're absolutely beautiful.
Salamanders help keep the forest healthy by eating insects like mosquitoes and ticks. As a result, they help limit bites and the spread of diseases.
The park represents a really, really important refuge. In addition to just being cool for us to come and hike and see neat stuff, these organisms rely on this park for their very survival.
So we'll never walk past a stream bed again without thinking of these little creatures living under those rocks. Up next, we're taking on the challenge of one of Great Smoky's most intense hikes.
This is one giant slab of rock.
Yes, it is.
We're in Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and after a couple days of checking out wildlife, we're ready to hit the trail.
Now, the trail up to the top, it's just under 2 miles. Yeah, but it's about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, and most of that is in the last mile. That's a pretty steep incline.
We'll get a little workout in.
You see that thing up there? That peak?
Is that it?
That's where we're going.
All right, so maybe we'll get a great workout in.
This is one of the most popular hikes in the park, and people of all ages do it. But don't let that fool you. Parts of this trail can be very strenuous.
Some hikers don't ever make it to the top, so make sure you know your limitations.
So the first little stretch of this trail, we're going across Prong Creek multiple times. Definitely remember that there's somewhere we can stick our heads in after this hike.
We're gonna need to cool off.
Yeah.
About a half mile into the hike, we catch a glimpse of something else the Smokies are known for.
Check it out, man. Little wildflowers.
Oh, pretty.
That's awesome.
The park is a preserve for over 1,500 kinds of flowering plants and wildflowers.
This is the one trail in Great Smoky Mountains that I've wanted to do for a long time. Because the forests here are so incredibly dense that sometimes you can hike for miles and not really get a great view of everything that's going on around you.
If you're lucky, you might catch a glimpse of the red-shouldered hawk at this altitude. They search for prey like mice, frogs, and snakes while perched in the trees.
This is great. It's like walking on a Stairmaster.
No, the guys who laid these, they're the Stairmasters.
These steps were just added a few years ago to areas of the trail that had started to erode and become dangerous. Now, we're about a mile into this hike. Imagine carrying stone stairs like these all the way up here.
They weigh about 300 pounds apiece.
You think you could lift that?
What do you think I do before breakfast?
Why do I set them up for those? Humility, the one thing you have yet to learn.
The hike starts getting intense when the trail climbs over 700 feet in about 2/3 of a mile.
The uphill has finally begun. Not the real uphill, that's all I'm saying. You're huffing and puffing now, my friend? Whew, might get a wheelbarrow and wheel you back down the mountain.
We've got a decent hike ahead of us, and I figure let's make it interesting.
I bet you that I reach the top of Chimney Tops before you. You're out of your mind. All right, fine. How about this? The winner gets to drive.
You're on.
And if I win, we listen to my music the entire drive.
I'm gonna beat him. I'm telling you.
We're heading into the last half mile of the trail, and after a pretty steady climb up, the trees are starting to thin out.
Check this out. Looks like we're gonna get a little bit of a view here. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh. We're getting towards the top.
Or so we think.
Oh baby.
Our race has just become
A rock scramble.
900 feet up a sheer rock cliff. We're in Great Smoky Mountains National Park climbing Chimney Tops, one of the only mountains in the Smokies with a bare rock summit.
And just when we're nice and tired, a rock scramble. 900 feet straight up.
The first one to the top wins bragging rights, but staying safe trumps everything.
Yeah, it's straight rock. Almost seems to come just jetting out of the top of the mountain.
We gotta make sure that we're watching our feet because if you slip, you could get hurt.
Scrambling is basically a combination of hiking and rock climbing.
Oh man.
It takes both your hands and feet, grabbing and stepping onto smooth capstone.
The nice tread on my boots is doing nothing on this really, really smooth rock. These things have been forming for about 300 million years. I'm very happy that it did not rain today.
Oh yeah.
Or else this would be one slippery slope.
Halfway up, it's very steep and almost completely vertical.
Yeah! Chimney Top champ. That's one for Jackie Fly.
I would have liked to have won, but I can't complain at the ending.
Wow! That's incredible, man. Woo! We did it. Would you look at that view?
At 4,800 feet, we've got panoramic views of the surroundings and the valley below. By far the best view we've seen in the park.
And you can see the layers of smoke and mist back there, which really paint the picture of the Great Smokies. All the mountains around here are so grand. A few of them have something like this waiting for you at the end, like a challenge. I gotta say, man, you won this one. You did.
What was that?
You beat me.
Thank you.
All right.
I want to savor this moment.
Yeah, you better.
After that climb, nothing beats cooling down in Road Prong Creek.
What a trip.
This was an interesting one.
To actually go out with somebody like Bill and walk how a bear would walk in one normal day was pretty cool.
And then these salamanders,
He's really squirmy.
two completely opposite things, but so cool in their own way. I'm glad we were able to really get in that grand view of the Great Smokies.
Getting to stand on that peak and just see mountains as far as the eye can see.
You remember I still won the bet. I'm driving.
The Great Smokies taught us that even in the busiest park in the country, with the right balance, nature thrives. And you can still find peace and solitude in unexpected places. And remember,
Hey, if we can do it, so can you.
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have.
And please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come.